And both nine quiet. All right, shalom. Yahweh Shah Shabbat to the brothers. Yahweh Shema Time by Shem Yahweh Shah to the sisters. This is Monday Night History class with Chris and also Philip Kabashwan. Now, this is going to be a short class, unfortunately, but we're going to learn something in this short amount of time, right? So, my question is, which is the topic, who was here first, right? Because we have a nation of people that dislike us. And they believe a lot of our people don't even belong here, right? So, and by those people, I mean like the brothers and sisters that's having to speak Spanish, right? Now, that right there is a major problem, major issue. And the reason why I say that is because based on the facts presented, how can you deport people who you guys claim wasn't born on American soil or just simply got over here illegally? Because before Texas and California and surrounding areas even became Texas, California, and surrounding areas, it was Mexico, right? That is the actual fact. Shalom Yashima Tabashim Yahushua, most high in Christ, is always good seeing the sister check in. You know what I'm saying? Got the sister Dashim, you know, most high in Christ, checking in. But yeah, like, so that brings me to my question, like, who was here first? I mean, to sit right here and deport the people who you guys claim wasn't here first or were born on American soil is almost absurd, considering, well, colonization started happening at a rough period of time. If you want to go based off any documented presence, and they're probably here before China. Yeah, go ahead. What What you mean by when we here first? Didn't one of our sisters' birthday for a What you mean by that? Oh no, you talking about that. Okay, I'm talking about America, right? That's what I'm talking about. But to answer your question, two children were born. Esau came first, we came second, but Esau was meant to serve us. Just to answer that in short. Right? To answer your question though, right? Okay, most high in Christ. So when I say who was here first, I'm really talking about what's going on in America, right? Because there's a lot of unnecessary deportation. If we're being realistic, it's illegal. And I have proved that it's illegal, right? Because like I said, they could have been here beforehand, but the early documentation or the early presence that was recorded that I was able to research on traces back to the 1500s. So prior to the 1500s, this entire continent, South America and North America, was found roughly 12,000 years ago, in between 12 and 1200, right? They just give it that big time window. Just know it's over 1,000, right? 1,000 years. Now, so that means it was technically founded first, right? But then this land, we all know, and then we was taught in school, like, cause they have this song. I don't know if you had this song in school. Did you so happen to hear a song like Columbus this, Columbus that, and it got a little rhyme scheme, basically like almost giving the idea that Columbus came here for a good reason to bring prosperity and to help America grow. You ain't never heard that song, have you? I remember hearing it. I just don't know the name of it. But that's besides the point, right? But just to be realistic, that's all false. That song right there is nothing but teaching your children how to lie. That's why me personally, I don't believe any child born of the nation of Israel who are black, Hispanic, Native American Indian should be in the public school system, let alone the private school system. If it's in any form of American school system, your child will be in danger of not knowing the truth about America or the people, right? Now, with that being said, I got something right here I want to read before I just really just start pulling scriptures. Now it says right here, in 1509, Ponce was named governor of the island, a post he kept until was contested by Diego Columbus, the admiral's son. Now these people I'm naming are Spaniards. Spaniards are white people that so happen to speak Spanish, right? So I'm reading about your oppressor right now, right? Now it says who had convinced the courts in Madrid of his claim to his father's title of admiral and viceroy of the New World. Now, when we talk about the New World, they believe that they could just branch out, just hit the seas, go look for more land to conquer. The New World is supposed to be basically like, okay, I'm trying to see if I can break it down to where, or simplify where a 10-year-old can even understand this. What they would consider a new world would be like almost a new civilization to extend where they just came from. It's almost basically just spreading out and try to cover the entire earth. Just think of it like that, right? Just think of it like that. Now, as you keep reading, it says, with his newfound powers, he pushed Ponce out in 1511. This right here is also showing how even though they don't like us, they still don't even like each other, to be honest, right? Now, this was coupled with a large indigenous uprising in Puerto Rico, Ephraimites, right? Which killed at least 200 Spaniards. By this point, Ponce had amassed enough wealth to undertake another expedition. So, even though our people fought back and they took a lot of these Spaniards, right, took a lot of them down, well, he like, well, shoot, I still got everything I came for. I'm like, even though I had to push one of my own out, I still got enough money to where I can move around and try to see if I can find something new, right? And that's what's going on right here. Now, it said by this point, Ponce had amassed enough wealth to undertake another expedition. The expedition is really just like, oh, I'm finna go well with the people we know. It's simplified. We're finna go take another piece of land from somebody that we don't own, and it's just gonna be ours. You know what I'm saying? If we've been realistic, it's just real robbery. Just robbery. You robbing people for a whole piece of land. But if you ask any one of these people today, why y'all stole this land or what made y'all do it, they're gonna argue that they didn't steal it, they conquered it. And they say if they really want it back, they'll conquer it back. So really, they're telling you if you want to get something that belongs to you back, you're going to have to go to war for it. They basically tell you over my dead body, right? So that's how it is. So they like this is really just talking about the whole conquering of South America, how they went up north. It's in the book. This information comes from a book called El Norte. I had to fact check it and everything, right? And it's crazy book to read, like, and with you knowing that, you know, the people who speak Spanish are actually your people, just reading the book alone is no different than reading a slavery book where you hear about the people getting beat up by whips and so on and so forth. It makes you equally as mad because they also speak about slavery towards our Hispanic brothers, right? Now, with that being said, I'm just keep reading. I'm gonna read a little bit, not too much. Now, it said, and in 1512, the year 1512, so like I said, the 1500s, he secured a royal grant for the right to colonize. Now, what does it mean to colonize? You know what the definition of colonize means? Okay, I can give you the definition of colonizer, right? Okay, so it says colonizer, a country that sends settlers to a place and establishes political control over it. In other words, colonizers are people who just take over people's land, people's resources, everything that they own. Hmm? Yeah, like most of pirates. Yeah, the pirates. That's all they are. The pirates, right? So they pirating people, and they have these fancy words to make it seem like it's legal to commit piracy or the act of being a pirate. I don't want to say piracy because I don't want to use that word wrong, right? So now, It said what was thought to be the island of Bimini, though once again Spanish geography would prove inaccurate. So that means they didn't find this place intentionally. They found it by accident. You get what I'm saying? They found this place by accident. So that's already a few strikes. One, what I'm reading is they just one colonized a place that wasn't theirs, right? Now, it's crazy that they could take the land from people who really been found their land and they consider them to be immigrants. Because the more you read into the book of El Norte, you realize and you learn that Hispanic people or, our Esquire brothers and sisters and other tribes that, is able to speak Spanish just as equal as Esquire, or might be speaking a little different. They are Native Americans. They're Native Indians. That's crazy, right? Now, do you know that there's a law stating that ICE can't deport Native Americans, but Hispanic people are natives? You don't find that disturbing, do you? You find it disturbing? Now, what about that sounds like it makes sense with what they're doing? None of it, right? So, is it safe to say that one, our people was already here, but the real question is because I couldn't name it that title because I think we could have got flagged for it. But I'm trying to see if I could say any of it like being within the guidelines about social media because this is a very sensitive topic that really ain't supposed to really just be too much touched on certain social media platforms. But I want to say it like this: ICE, the whole idea of ICE is illegal based on American law. So really, they contradicting themselves. Or you get what I'm saying? Because if the shoe was on the other foot and a lot of people just go over to England or just simply take America back, what would they say? Hmm? I mean, like, I was looking for something else. They would say that we stole that land. You get what I'm saying? They wouldn't say we conquered. They would say we stole it, right? So if they say that about us, what are they saying? They saying what we're doing is yeah, wrong. And but when you commit a crime, that you're saying that you're doing something illegal. Okay, okay. So I'm trying to see if I can try to hit this in another angle. Right. One, there is literally a scripture that says, "Thou shalt not steal." Right. It's in the law. Right. It says, "Thou shalt not steal." Let me pull that forward real quick. I'm pretty sure you already heard of it, but as far as where it's at, it'll be found here. In Exodus chapter 20, verse 15. Right? But first, I want to start off with Exodus 20 and 13. That way we can see how wrong it is. Not only are they illegal by their very own standards, but first and foremost, according to the Bible, they have committed illegal acts towards the Most High God. So Exodus chapter 20 and verse 13, it says, "Thou shalt not kill," right? Well, let me do it like this. We're gonna jump down because I want to read it out of order so you can get what I'm trying to say, right? Exodus chapter 15, Exodus chapter 20, verse 15, it said, thou shalt not steal. Now, once they came over here, they never had the intentions of sharing a land. They had every intention on taking it. If I was to take, if I was to see a random brother on the street and I take money out of his pocket, what did I just do? I stole it, right? And it says the Lord said, thou shalt not steal. Well, when they taking the land, what did they do? They stole it. They had every intention to steal this land from innocent people. So if these people believed in God so much, why did they believe God to the point where they followed where it says thou shalt not steal? Because they believe they're better than God. Exactly. Because they believe they are better than God. So it don't matter if we were here first, by their definition, they're better than God. So they feel like with them being better than God, what is written in this Bible cannot be used against them because they're better than God, but it can be used against us. So, with that being said, it's safe to say that these people here are very dangerous and everything they do are illegal according to the Most High God. So, would it be wrong if when Christ come back, we deport them? Because the same land that they stole, they are deporting people that were already here. And not only that, they consider those people to be illegal immigrants. But these illegal immigrants are descendants of native people. There's a law that was established in 1924 stating that they cannot harm or touch or deport any Native American or anybody from native descent. So what is it that they have against Mexicans? What do they really have against them? I mean, we know it was here first, but what exactly do they have against them to where they just ruled them out from everybody else? Yeah, chosen people. Yeah, but Native Indians are chosen people as well, right? So, and what if I told you that they seen our Hispanic brothers even since back then in the 1500s, they seen them as more of a threat than the so-called Native American Indians, who we know is the tribe of Gad. And why is that? Because if you do your research, Native American Indians welcome them with open arms. But, you know, our, you know, Hispanic brothers, so-called Latino, they were the native descent that gave them a run for their money. They already know they have every means to take their land back, and they know they had every means to defend what's theirs. Now, the reason why it's such a big problem is because they got to worry about them even to this day because they are very passionate and they are very, you could say, warlike. Naturally, they're warriors. Now, don't get me wrong, Native American Indians who was in the North, North America, they do have their warrior spirit, but they also got a kind and loving spirit as well. So that right there is playing a part as to why they automatically gonna rule the so-called Mexicans out, why they're gonna rule the so-called Honduras out, and the so-called Puerto Ricans, right? So with that being acknowledged, they decided to make certain friendships, if that makes sense. I gotta try to word this right. They decided to make certain friendships to where they were able to do a divide and conquer. They had and Native Americans helped them destroy the so-called Aztecs. People believe that the so-called Aztec people, were the type to make blood sacrifice and all that. That's all false. But with that being such an absurd tradition, who wouldn't hear that like, okay, yeah, we gotta do something about these people, right? And that right there helped them eventually get land that they weren't supposed to have anyways. And it eventually led up to the famous Alamo as well, to where, even we ended up running over this motherfucker. I'm running up here towards this area, right? We ended up running up here. But let's focus more on I want to say let's focus more on the Mexican side of things, right? Like Tainos, so on and so forth, right? Because there's a word called let me make sure I pronounce it right. Tino, hold on, Teno, Tenochtitlan, right? Now, Tenochtitlan, it says, was destroyed and razed to the ground by the Spanish conquistadors led by Hernan Cortez between 1519 and 1521, following a brutal 75-day siege. So, the same people that has the means to deport of people who never harmed them, well, they got their land by doing something as brutal as going on a 75-day non-stop murdering spree. Think about that. Every day you wake up. Okay, how many days are in 3 months? 90, right? Okay, imagine that. Subtract what roughly 25 days, right? Imagine that. Because let's be real. 3 months is a very long time, right? So imagine I'm like 1 week is a very long time. That's 7 days. But 75 days to where people can't even sleep, their kids can't sleep. Every day, you're not only losing sleep, but you're losing your land and you're losing it all in front of you because these people come over here with weapons you never seen before and so on and so forth. Now, the reason why this came about is all because they didn't fall for the treaty trick. Like, hey, we got this treaty to declaring that you should share our land and you will share your land with us. So, of course, they like, why should we share something that was already given to us? We were here first. Why should we share it? So it turned into a 75-day massacre of pure, and it was more than just that, right? Because look, it says the Spanish aided. Then when it says the Spanish, it's not talking about our people. It's literally talking about the people who spoke Spanish before our people were forced to learn Spanish, right? It said aided by numerous indigenous allies. You remember I was telling you they did that divide and conquer. So those indigenous allies, when you hear the word indigenous, think Native American. Those allies, they believed in, you know, peace and things of that nature. So when you tell this lie about how there's a people that also share this land, but they do blood sacrifice and rituals and stuff like that, what is your first instinct? I mean, not your, I say your first instinct. Yeah, your first instinct. I say extinct, like, boom, you're gone. Right? But no, your first instinct would be, okay, we got to get rid of that problem because that's dangerous. What does that leaks out over here? Right? Now, even so, then, not only did they tell them that, but guess what? You know, they also fell for a trick as well. If y'all help us take this land, we'll leave y'all alone. But when you turn around today, fast forward all the way to 2025, you look around, where are they? They're everywhere. They're all the way in North America and they all the way in South America. See, what they did was start from the bottom and work their way up. You know what I'm saying? Now, it was a certain group that landed all the way in Florida, but they got ran out of Florida real quick. You know what I'm saying? If you look today, oh, my God. That's one brother checking in, sister checking in. All right. But let's just keep reading if I deviate too much. Because I like the story. Well, not the story, but it's history about how people fight back, right? But it said they also use European diseases like smallpox, and they conquered the city and established Mexico City on its ruins. The fall of the Tenochtitlan marked the end of the Aztec Empire, right? Now, when you look up all of the factors that were involved, right? When it said disease, it said a devastating smallpox epidemic brought by the Spanish weakened the Aztec population significantly and was a key factor in the Spanish victory. Now it said destruction and rebuilding. The Spanish destroyed the temples and other structures of the Tenochtitlan. They then built Mexico City directly on the ruins of the Aztec capital using much of the same stones and established the Spanish colony of New Spain. Now, there was a legacy that they believed was left behind. Like, let them tell it. It said they left a legacy. So the legacy is the conquest marked a major turning point in the history of the Americas, initiating centuries of Spanish rule and the end of a powerful indigenous empire. While much of the Aztec culture was suppressed, some aspects, such as language and food, have survived to the present day. Now, there is a certain area you can go, and there are brothers and sisters that are speaking dialect. They're not even speaking Spanish, right? So imagine that these same people that was well, you still got a good son. Imagine these same people that was forced to speak Spanish are now being considered illegal all because they speak Spanish. So don't that mean if our people speak Spanish and they have all these ways that's not American custom and boom, they got illegal. Don't that mean they should be deporting Spaniards from here? And let's just go outside of Spanish. If who was here first, Mexicans or Ukrainians? The so-called Mexicans or Ukrainians? So-called Mexicans. Who were here first, Mexicans or Asian people? The Mexicans. Now, also, who were here, Mexicans or who we know today as the so-called white man? Okay, the Mexicans. So if they were here first, why aren't the Ukrainians being deported? Why aren't Asians being deported? And why haven't they started deporting other white races if they just decide they want to stay here and make so-called America great again? The reason why they're not going to do this is because, like you brought out at first, they have a hatred towards our people. Even though we're here first, we're not going to be the last to be deported. But their deportation is showing that they are a hate group. That's what I'm really trying to break down. I probably should have taught my class a little different. But what I'm saying is, the whole idea of ICE is it is a hate group because it says our people were here before the years of 1500s, right? So one, they came after our people were here, but this is where you were able to pinpoint where ICE is a hate group. ICE was created and formed in 2003. They were formed 2003, right? I'm really trying to see if I can shorten this class because I'm going all out of order. It's like I'm all everywhere because I want to teach everything in one little sitting because the class got to be short. Unfortunately, I would have just been going in order of how I had everything, which I do not like, just being all out of order. So drop that whole Exodus. See if I can pull this one scripture. Okay. Uh, well, I want to touch on this. So it just seems like I'm just really just teaching randomly, don't it? I'm just all over the place. But all of this is really linked together. I just got to try to see if I can get all of everything that I want to teach out in less than an hour. Because this class was so really technically projected to be roughly 2 hours and 15 minutes by my count. So I'm gonna tell you how biblical the so-called Mexicans and Puerto Ricans and so on and so forth was when those Spanish conquistadors came over, right? Now it said that they had a very bad problem with them. Like based off the research done and the questions asked, it was basically safe to say that they believed that the so-called Mexicans were more of a problem than so-called Native Americans. But we all get that Mexicans, so-called Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans and Guatemala, they're all natives as well. We all understand it, right? But how biblical they is, they fit this scripture in Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1 so well, right? And they came over them with some fake treaty. Now, what is a treaty? A decree, right? It just dressed up as another fancy word. Now, in Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1, it reads, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees." Woe means destruction. It said the Lord said destruction unto them who sit right here and try to make something that ain't legit. You know what I'm saying? Woe unto them. And guess what? Our brothers was thinking the same thing. They tried to throw that treaty out there because, ah man, like I hate that our people even fell for it, but we are such a loving people. The so-called Native American Indians today, or you know what I'm saying, who they try to say is separate from our so-called Mexican brothers, they gave them 500 treaties and honored none of them. And in the process, were able to unalive over 77 million Native Americans, right? But our people that was further down south, that was still on the same piece of land, they like the hell with that. They like, no, you could take that treaty and you could take it back to where you came from because you do not belong here. That's what they did. Exactly how it said in Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. They knew that this was not legit. Why are y'all trying to print up a paper or write out a paper saying it's a good thing to share your land with people that wasn't even here in the first place? Y'all come over here, y'all talk different, y'all look different. We don't even know if y'all are good people. And we supposed to just share this land with you knowing that our kids are here. We don't even know what type of people y'all are and why we should trust you around kids. So guess what they did? They took the righteous route and sent them home packing. I'm like, of course, nowadays we ain't allowed to just be just doing things of that nature, right? What we do nowadays is teach our people to come back together. Cause when Christ come back and he give out that order, we're gonna take everything back. And we're not gonna come with a unrighteous decree. We're gonna come with the most righteous decree known to man. The Most High ordered this. Whatever the Most High say is worth way more than the fake printed up paper. You get what I'm saying? Because it's clear day that we were here first. I already knew the answer. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, this is gonna have to be a short class. I know it might seem like I'm all over the place. So y'all got bits and pieces of information. Lord allow, I'm able to actually teach Monday Night History next week. And I'm able to actually go back and redo this entire topic and be able to do it thoroughly because I have something important that has to be taken care of at 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna just go ahead and end it on that. So with that, shalom.